Wait! Not yet. Brotato is a roguelike, in which you dodge hordes of enemies and pray for good RNG. I love the game, but it feels too random for how skill-based dodging is. In my usual pursuit of tweaking perfectly playable games to something I like more, I set out on removing RNG and in the process found a brand new way to play and re-experience the game as if for the first time. While normal Brotato looks like this, my version sometimes looks like this, and that. There is a shopping phase between waves. Even with unlimited money, trying to roll for a specific item is a torture. And I'm not talking about legendary quality one. I've checked Steam Workshop and found Supermarket mod. It lets you straight up buy whatever you need. Game's too easy that way, so I've cranked all the difficulty sliders up. There are people who can do 182% runs without mods, but not with all the characters, and these players are actually good at the game, while I've barely completed it normally. The idea of this challenge is to use game knowledge to finish max difficulty with as much characters as possible. It's still hard usually, but more comparable to normal Brotato, rather than something only god gamers can attempt. Also, another goal is to try to make something ridiculous in the process. The Supermarket mod lets you choose level up rewards, but I've immediately decided against it, at least till impossible Tatos. Otherwise, all one would be SMGs with a lot of range damage from level ups, and that's just too similar to normal Brotato. In fact, so similar, I've decided to start with exactly that. Quick warning, my builds are likely not the most optimized, but if you wanna do the challenge and figure everything out yourself, you might get somewhat spoiled. Playlists with full runs are in the description. The first thing I did was finding modified save with everything unlocked and nothing completed. Find it if you want to track your progress easier. Apprentice. I thought that Apprentice should be an easy first character. Just buy tardigrades and go all in on damage. Well, I didn't anticipate playing against 1.5 times faster enemies without practice would eat up free hits so fast. I shouldn't have the big glass cannon build for the first go. I've bought a couple of peacocks for XP, threw in one scared sausage for additional DPS on tanky enemies. Not sure I needed that, but it seems efficient on paper. Before level 9 you need Ricochet. Pierce also works, but you've already done Pierce a lot while playing vanilla Brotato, so have some fun. After level 9 you should have enough for a chain gun, and then your damage is overwhelming. Just be careful with a long reload, so buy wings for speed and range. Game should be free after the second chain gun. I've even bought Sif's relic to not get baited by materials. You should have enough for 6 chain guns on level 20, but not with much overhead. Masochist. The final run doesn't show that, but I've struggled a lot on Apprentice. I needed an easy win, and that was easy. Blood donation makes this character steamroll through the max difficulty with less struggle than most other characters on normal. That RNG dependence is exactly why I'm doing this challenge. You go with shields and grab blood donation on wave 4. Build is done. Multiple sources of self-damage proc at the same time, so you don't need more than one. You will need to tank up to survive 20 waves, but you can do it pretty much any way you want. I've chose to go for all more enemies and no dodge to maximize damage. Also, I stacked Grind's magical leaves to check how many bonuses can I have. I got 1030. Most runs in this challenge is about surviving early game and pushing some stat to the comical extent later. Exactly like trying to break a game with an overpowered built-in RPG, thus the name of the challenge. Speedy. Speedy is another good max difficulty hero. Built-in speed saves him from hasted monsters, and having a good start is important. I would say the run was easy, but very stressful. On other characters I could relax at some point, usually after wave 8, 9 or the first boss. Here I was on the edge to the very end. Tanking up wasn't an option, tardigrades on melee are extra fun, and at some point high speed becomes a liability as much as a benefit. The build was predictable: lances, power generator, stacking speed with wings and later jetpacks for capped dodge, and Retromation's hoodie to capitalize on that. Just don't build more speed than you can handle. Bull. I've expected the same situation as with Masochist, that blood donation will give me an easy win. Well, it wasn't super hard, but still had to work for it. Every run was dead until I start stacking regen with plants. Focus on defense when leveling up. Items with hybrid plus damage and % explosive damage are just that much better. I've also stacked explosion size to gain screen-wide damage zone, but that's overkill. But overkill is the point, so you should do the same. There is a setting to change explosion visuals. You might need that. Cryptid. This one is straight up ridiculous. I'm sure it's the easiest character. Just buy 6 fists and stack trees. You don't even need to kill enemies, trees are all the economy you'll need. If you at some point decide to fight, cap your dodge and crit, swap to claws, and don't forget some health and armor. Your regen will go to thousands, so don't worry about sustain. Ghost. Receiving quadruple damage is not manageable, so don't receive it at all. Speed, dodge and target grades are essential. Once I've decided to go for all access without flints, I won. Not sure why, might just be a better hit zone. Felt safer than mixing weapons. Retramation's hoodie will give you enough attack speed in one item anyway. I'm 99% sure dodging RNG is pure random, and you can lose all your target grades very fast, so have a few extra. Loud. Debated myself out of going ghost weapons on this one too, so Thief's Dagger is the only alternative. Go for a higher rarity as soon as possible. 2 or 3 early tentacles will solve sustain even without maxed crit. After that, pick a wave and go all in on weird ghosts. There might be a safer method, but early game is very tight on loud. Your offensive is your economy, you don't want to spend a lot of defense. Buy hunting trophies once you are comfortable, should be after wave 8. Your economy will win you the run without any extra input from you. This isn't the fastest boss kill you'll see in this video. Mage. Fun fact, I've checked numbers for higher rarity tasers and thought they do damage over time, which I don't need, because I've already maxed on burn chance. That's why I didn't upgrade my weapon and felt very smart about that. Turns out, they do multiple projectiles on higher tiers, that would be very nice to have. The fact I finished the run without realizing this speaks to the strength of an elemental build. Fuel tank is just too much DPS for too cheap. Wolf helmet is slightly better, but it's a red item. Don't want to comment on this abomination of a run too much. You might not even need pierce or bounces with higher level tasers, but I'm not sure. I've tried to tank up, but target grades are probably more reasonable here.
Lich.
Building around Lich's passive was my dream for a long time. It's too weak in normal Brotato, and even in my challenged version of the game I lost round after round trying to make it viable. The winning formula was to not upgrade medical guns, but purchase sharp bullet for more lifesteal, stack alien worms, and deliberately take damage to maximize DPS and grab early regeneration potion. After that, the run is set. Set on losing in mid-game, that is. The real secret was buying 3 bags and spamming lure after wave 9. Technically you can do that on any hero, but Lich is unique in that he actually uses regen from a lure, and he's good early and weak late. You can also get recycling machine, and maybe get the scripts to repeat click when selling crates. To finish this insanity, buy Scythe, set Tomato, and any source of additional HP, Battalion baby is the funniest. To buy in bulk, hold space for 3 seconds. King. King was my first attempt with this challenge actually. I've struggled for some time with circular saws, taking damage was inevitable, so I figured I need some form of healing. When I returned to these characters after doing 9 successful runs, the answer was obvious. King needs cheap weapon to upgrade it fast. Fists were the perfect choice. They are the cheapest and double their base damage each tier. I still started with a saw for its heal, it's probably stupid. I've won first try, so there might not be a lot of optimization needed. Don't hold tier 1 and tier 3 weapons, rush tier 2 and 4. Don't get baited by tier 1 items from crates. Multitasker. Multitasker was another easy run. In fact, so easy, I decided to make it harder for myself. After buying 12 sticks, I've also took all more enemies items, but that wasn't a hard part, since melee multitasker is the best character to handle pack size. I've decided to go for a standstill build. Etsy's couch is a key item. You can cap dodge with chameleon, statues solve attack speed, barricade or warrior helmets for armor. Remember that temp armor from barricades doesn't work with stone skin for additional DPS. Standstill is actually not far from almost virgin or nearly close to somewhat good. I mean, if you can stack everything, but you have to go for it. You'll be too slow to move, and moving will halve your stats. I got lucky with bosses, some won't kill themselves by being in your melee range. Brawler. This run was very close in a lot of moments. You won't be able to tank up if you want to have relevant damage, but fists are too close range for target grades. I had to rely on dodge and disengage after every hit landed on me. I took torture early, so I couldn't do anything cool later. Might have been a mistake, might have been a reason I won. Felt like a regular run, just with twice as much speed as normal. Arms Dealer. After previous mundane run, I wanted something cheesy. Arms Dealer is perfect for that. It seems like his downside is irrelevant in this challenge. It's half true, because you still spend a lot of money on rebuying weapons each round. I've wasted 350 gold last round on weapons alone. You must counter this with extreme economy, but greed can ruin your run. And you don't want to restart a lot, because you have to do this shit all over again. Buy enhanced first couple of rounds are just too good. You will have a lot of harvesting for one wave, but 5% bonus will stay with you till the very end. You'll need real weapons at some point, probably wave 3, but flamethrower plus fuel tank will carry you far. Again, the whole run is about balancing greed, and you just have to feel it for yourself. Tasers give you economy and damage. They are quite good after you stack elemental damage. I would say this is the most freeform character. Set up economy and go for anything. One-armed. This one was the worst until it clicked. I've tried Ghost Axe to Excalibur a lot, couldn't pull it off. Slingshot build kept dying on bosses, one time on the last wave. I've almost decided to let the rest of the community handle this Tato. And then I suddenly remember I could just swap to a better weapon like Gatling Laser. Seems very obvious, yes, but playing normal game taught me to forget ever swapping from red Slingshot. Heavy Bullet is MVP here. Otherwise nothing special, just stack damage, maybe some babies with beards. At this point, for the first time, I felt like I'm somewhat okay at dodging hasted enemies. Lucky. Most fun run for sure. Tier 1 sticks were obvious, Baby Elephant vs Cyberball is harder. Still not sure what's the right ratio. I feel like elephants are better at the beginning. Picking materials should be a strategy, don't just rush it. Try to save large chunks for the end of the wave. Sif's relic is a must, but not early on. You should buy it when there are a lot of monsters on the arena at all times. Both items and innate passive have a chance to trigger independently, so be ready to have an inconsistent DPS. Starting luck will carry you early, but don't forget to stack it later. More enemy is a must, especially for boss waves. If I have to pick one character to recommend everyone to try, it would be this one. The feeling when build comes together and chain reaction starts killing everything is amazing. Literally like playing some ARPG like Path of Exile on min-max character. Hunter. Sniper rifle is a bait. Renegade. You want almost all tier 1 items, but picking the order is the fun part. Again, this is about economy versus damage. Buying defense will get you killed mid-game, so be ready to dodge. Not the most restarts, probably the most grey hairs farmed. Oh, and early crates RNG is huge on this character. Generalist. I've tried to make a nice range plus melee combination out of this one. Tried to tank up, but early handcuffs are too strong to ignore. That means I had to go tardigrades. That means melee is questionable now. That means going all in on SMGs and Gatling lasers. Again. There is no escaping meta, it seems. Let's hope the next one won't be so repetitive. Knight. No, the next one is also meta. At least it's a melee tank this time. Fists are carrying as usual, armor stacking is strong, dodge might not be the meta stat in normal runs, I still like it, but runs I've watched ignored it. On this challenge it's amazing, double damage hits are better dodged than tanked, there are guaranteed synergistic items like Adrenaline and Retramation's Hoodie, at some point it's more efficient to buy dodge instead of more tardigrades and so on. Also, Leather Vest and Stone Skin is a great defense combination, and Knight goes all in on defense. Starting bonus armor helps early, all you need is to survive mid-game. Wildling. I was sure that Anvil will work on Wildling. It didn't. Still doable, sticks will carry your damage, you have sustain, so Leather Vest is perfect. More or less the same run as the previous one. Old. I wanted to try this build since I've seen Pocket Factory for the first time. Old was made for this. The build is buying all the trees possible and covering all the area in turrets. Don't bother upgrading ranches. Do bother to buy some tier 1 turrets as an item to make the beginning of the wave less scary. Take some pierce or bounces. Not a face roll, but not particularly hard as well. Looks very cool, very satisfying to play. Demon. This one is a face roll. I knew I had to do something special with it. Straight up buying HP items early is literally cheating, and not in a fun way, so it's banned. As for a build, I've decided to go full glass cannon without any tardigrades. Be very greedy and stack all the bullshit techniques I've learned during this challenge. Except lure spam, because one time is enough for my fingers. Without rerolling, the shop economy would have gotten out of hands anyway. But I've decided to break it even more with 1000 harvesting and full crit hunting trophies. So, I've done half of the characters. Probably the easier half. I think I can do another quarter, but guys like Saver, Jack and Fisherman are impossible for me. I'd like to see other people try them, especially 182% experts. You can send me a video for one here or by the link in the pinned comment. Also, I made a Reddit post calling people to participate, so you can DM or reply me there. Link will also be in the comment. If you just got ideas for an easy or fun or extremely contrived build or mechanics, I'd also want to hear that. I don't really watch Brotato content, so it would feel weird to spam my video to content creators. But, you know, I wouldn't mind if you bait some of them into doing this challenge. I'd like to make a second video with other people doing the runs. In a perfect world, that video would contain all the remaining Tatos, but this is not a perfect world. You might want to subscribe if you want to catch that second video. There is a little chance I'll get into your recommendation. Got other ideas for non-Brotato videos too, slightly less autistic than this one? Thanks for watching.